I try to be open-minded, but my patience is very thin.
Your open mind is very, very slightly open.
Look,
Like
look,
it's like that open.
baby steps, baby steps.
The thirst doesn't end with the credits. I'm Omegia Keeys, and this is Donors After Dark. Warning, there are spoilers ahead, but first, here's the recap.
Previously on Donors.
Who is this? You bought a snack.
Uncle, this is not a James.
You put your mark on this one.
Their body chemistry is weaker, but they learn ways to fight and are crafty.
We did what you asked. Now where is our money?
If my tribe would have known.
Funika Tafu, Lufaklad Atiahait, Masay Shuma Duati.
Welcome to another episode of Donors After Dark. I am your host, Omegia Keeys, the writer, director, and the creator of the Donor series. Today, I have with me two of my favorites, Octavian and Lu'Cious, because I can no longer call him by his first name. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Y'all, who talking to me right now? Thank you for having us. I'm scared to.
So there's a little mixture of both.
Okay.
That's his voice.
So I have heard from Dante on several episodes. So I am going to start with you because technically this episode has a lot of you in it. We find you back in 1200 BC. Yes. You basically kidnapping kids. What's going on?
Look, this is an order to everything. So I love the fact that it gives you a little bit of a backstory to know how Six comes to be. And then I'm one of the ones where whatever needs to be done to keep things in order, and as savage or vicious as it may come off, it's just a process to madness. So my brother, he doesn't know, we don't always see eye to eye, but we want to make sure that we have things established.
How was it getting into that moment? Because, everything else is present day or just 10 years back. You got to flash all the way back to, whole different attire, whole different look. The 1200s, you're not in rags. You're looking kind of kingly, but still, clothing is not what it is today. And we were out in the woods.
Yes, well, Lucy's he's gonna keep it. He's gonna keep it royal, but no. To get into character, I love movies like Gladiator. I love movies that give you that nostalgic feel. So it was definitely something to where I really gravitated towards it. And to be able to work with such phenomenal talent, it was just really really nice, and how creative to have it at night. We were actually really able to capitalize on that and kind of give more of the spookiness and the mystery, of the vampire series.
One of my favorite things about doing a flashback before Six as an adult now is one of my scenes when you were with with baby girl in the first scene when you were with baby girl in the scene, she's an orphan, but the power dynamics, when we had a 2-shot, how big you are over her, and you were still like, girl, I'll snap your neck. Like, yeah. Like, how was it trying to get into that moment? Because she was so tiny, but she was feisty.
Oh, and that's the thing I loved about it. She stood her ground, so Six was Six before she knew it. And she used to remind me of my little niece, just small but powerful, and the fact that she was so protective, so it was one of the things to where it almost to a point like, are you challenging me? But also the character, I admired that she was protective of her younger brother. But getting into character wasn't hard whatsoever. So, or anybody else, I would have just snapped her neck without even a second thought. But the fact that she stood her ground, she's like, I know who you are and what you are. So really, so it was intriguing, but phenomenal little actress, she held her ground, and it was nice to really be able to portray that and give that backstory.
Speaking of these backstories and everything, y'all two the whole time, this wasn't even supposed to happen. So how was it for you, Octavian, knowing, because you've had the script for a very long time, you've been knowing, and you've always known that you were supposed to be playing opposite of your father, Gregor. So when things happen and, indie filmmaking, stuff changes, things happen, and I had to create a whole new character within a week.
Out of nowhere. But first, I'm going to start off by saying you killed it.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You came in as if you had the script as long as me. And so when I seen, oh my Lord, when you came in, and again, that was my first time meeting you. First time, again, we've been following each other for years,
right.
Yeah.
but we've never crossed paths personally. And so when I seen him on set, he shook my hand, what's up, man, what's up? I didn't know how big he was. And I'm not talking about yourself, I'm talking about his stature of how he brings himself in. It was like, I'm like, oh, I gotta come, because he already came in hard. I'm like, hold on, wait up, I'm sizing me up like that. Everybody know I'm Octavian. But when he started talking, his voice was deep, I said, damn, he got me. I'm like, already he got the deep voice. I'm like, I gotta bring something to the table. But he stepped it up and made me have to step up and made me come into a bag or bring some stuff out of the bag that I never even knew I had. And I loved you for the challenge. And it was a challenge in a good way. Not no jealousy type challenge, but it was if you don't come right, you're going to be overshadowed and it's going to show on camera. And I just appreciate, again, the whole cast did that. Everybody was awesome and everybody made you bring your A game. If you didn't bring your A game, we all knew it. Mm-hmm. You definitely knew it because you're going to pull them to the side and say, nah, I ain't liking it. Right. Do it over. And you told me that a couple times too. And so he came in and he killed it. You crushed it last minute getting the script.
Thank you.
And boy, keep it up. Because you embodied that role. I don't see nobody else playing that role. I can't see it.
Thank you. And that was the aim. It's like I want to really come in with this character and to be able to deliver it and to give it justice, because I know that Omegia really poured her heart and soul into this series, and I love vampires, so that was one of the things I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it right.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about how this all came together was the fact that we had been following each other for years. And he, we had been chit-chatting behind the scenes, he's like, keep it up, whatever, I see what you're doing. It was another event. We ran into each other. I was like, damn, this is a big ass. Damn, Jabari Warrior. But Jabari Warrior. So yeah. So it was that, and it was like that same night, I got the call saying, hey, Omegia, I can't knock somebody for getting, when we're indie filmmaking, somebody else got a 4-week booking.
Yeah.
And so it was either scrap it or come up with something new. But because I seen him in person, photos don't do justice sometimes, but when you see people in person, you hear the voice, I was like, bet, fixed. Like I panicked for about 2 seconds. And immediately, fixed it and, talked to, my homegirl, Kathy, was like, look, this is a fix. We got to find somebody to do it. I think he could do it, but yeah, you still auditioning, because nobody is sliding on this, but the audition was insane. The audition was like, I gave the notes and came back. Yes, that's what we want. Because when he was doing this, in that dang audition, that Lu'Cious hands when he over there plotting, that hand had me cracking up the whole time. But I love the dynamics of you two together, because it doesn't seem like you got the script. It seems like you were there the entire 10 years of us doing this with y'all together. But one of my favorite moments with you two together is when you're when you're in his office, not the boardroom, but when you're in his office, and you know, what about this woman? What about her? Like, yes, I know. Like, what about her? That's one of my favorite moments. Soren's in the room too, but we really don't pay attention to Soren until, you know, the end. But it's so intimate about you two that he puts you in a childlike state almost. So I loved it. How was that for that scene to get to that moment of being like, you to me, you move from uncle and nephew to more like father and son to me in that moment.
But you're just simply doing what you always do. Trying to control my life, but this is one part of my life you were not control. And as far as the woman that was in my room, she has been kicked off the premises.
Nonsense. I invited her. You had no right to treat her that way. You will call her up and apologize for your thoughtless actions.
Enough, Uncle. And who are you to talk to me about rights? I don't care what you think or what you don't think of Nyla. She is the one and I chose her. I'm gonna tell you from just my experience on it is I looked at it as my uncle, rest in peace, who I looked at like a father figure, but he was my uncle. But he was more of a father to me than my father. So that's where I took this into play. It's like, because again, you don't see my father till some time in. Yeah. So you see Lu'Cious and me. So again, he's one that helped me. He one that raised me, especially when he said, I would not put my nephew in harm's way. You can tell he's so protective over me. Mm-hmm. And again, I appreciate that, but I do want to be noticed as a man. Again, I'm 800 plus years old. I think I could pick my own donor. You feel me? I think I got that little bit of leeway to pick my own donor. But I love the fact, I love the fact that he do treat me as a son. You feel me? Like I said, I don't care how old you is, you always need that male role model. Always, period. And again, I might not agree with all his antics all the time, but if I know I need to get something done, I know who to go to.
And 800 years is still an infant when it comes to me. But I love the layers of it, you know, and when it comes to the uncle role, because just a little backstory, like when my sister, she passed 3 years ago, but my niece and nephew, I raised pretty much as my own. So I'm very protective. So you see Lu'Cious is very, he has his savage ways. You know, he's very cut and dry. It's like it's black and white. There's no gray area. You know, it's either my way or no way, you know. So I'm a little irritated when you first come in and then when you start speaking about this woman, and I just feel that she's so beneath you, you know, because it's one of the things to where you are to become the head of this great family. So you need someone that's going to complement that, and she's going to be regal, and she's going to represent this family. And when I see you, I guess call yourself standing up to me. I find it a little comical at first, but I say, okay, I'm gonna give you your time. And I say, okay, well, what is it about this woman? Because you seem so adamant that you want to have her as your choice, you know. So when I see you so passionate, it's like, okay, look. I'll walk you through everything else. I'm gonna let you make this decision. But it was nice to be able to see as like, okay, he is growing into a man, should I say. So let me go ahead and let him find out. I'll step back a little bit, but definitely I have your best interest at heart when it comes to that. Now everything else I can't necessarily say, but yeah.
I love that though. Like, that's so cool. Like, it just, you feel it though. You seriously feel it. Like, it was those moments where, you know, because outside of the, you know, the boardroom and for the most part, we seen you on the throne. Yeah. So it was great to have that, you know, that tender, that intimate moment. But speaking of the throne, what was it like sitting there on the throne and having a room full of people looking up to you?
It felt like home, you know. I love the throne. And yeah, just the ambiance. I mean, I'm telling you, that's why locations are so important. Mm-hmm. Beautiful sets, and the costumes, everything. And I think that's the takeaway. I have so many people compliment us on how well things were put together, and they was like, oh man, they seen clips of the trailer. That was like, oh, I gotta see this. This is dope. This is dope. 6 is killing. I see y'all really into it. But I wanted to really embody this character. I wanted us to work cohesively. And one of the things I always say is that a chain is as strong as its weakest link.
Facts.
So it's not a lead and background and, where you fall on the totem pole. We need to look good together, so that's why I believe in being able to give that energy and that fire to your castmates, and I think Dante did a great job of being able to lead the team, because every day you came and you seen him with his iPad and he on it. You can really see that he was dedicated to this role, and I was proud of him. So as Lu'Cious, I have my ways, and I don't agree with everything, because I feel like the humans are making you weak and soft. But I have respect of the way that you standing 10 toes, to what you feel are your values and trying to evolve the Corfish family. But trust and believe, I'm gonna still make sure we get our respect. So
I know that. And see, that's why I'm comfortable doing what I do, because I know I got my backup right here. So,
Yeah.
And then again, it's funny to me is because even though people might not respect me because I'm the youngest and all this stuff, people respect me because of who my family is.
I'm
Of
gonna
course,
make sure they respect
you. Feel
you.
me?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I walk with all that power, because I know ain't nobody gonna try me. You try me, you got to try this whole coven, and I don't think you want that. Well, I mean, she different. She different.
Look, we're getting there.
She different.
We are getting there.
She might be the one to try you. I don't know.
Yeah, for both of y'all, those boardroom scenes with Tatiana. Oh my gosh. How was that? Because it was hard being behind the camera because she was those get backs and those digs and those little she was oh no, hey.
She come with those.
She was definitely giving that character justice. But I think she's probably the only one that doesn't just terrified of Lu'Cious. It's one of them things to where, I know you probably can outpower me, but trust and believe I'm not gonna back down from you.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like those dynamics, and you see a lot of where my protective nature comes out, and whether it's a vampire or a human, they're not just gonna come up in our home and just talk crazy. So,
speaking of, it was in not this episode, but the flashback scenes. I think it was episode 3, where everybody was at the table for the boardroom. You watching everybody walk out that subtle. It's like you were holding it, but that look of okay, I'm gonna wait. How dare you!
Yeah, I said, we have to keep up appearances, but trust and believe, they are not our equals. I only entertain to give them some sense of hope, so it's one of those things to where Lu'Cious is, even though I feel that there's no need to have this politics when it comes to the humans, because they serve us as a food source. That's their main purpose. But it's one of those things where like, okay, we need to make sure that we have our existence and we thrive. So let's try this, But at the end of the day, stay in your place.
And see, and I can feel that, and that's what I'm saying. I feel that we can benefit. Again, like I said, we do need them to survive. What else are we gonna eat off of? I ain't eating no deer. I don't want that. That ain't good. But as long as we stay course and do as I say, and let me lead and show y'all it's a better way than just out here just killing and maiming people. We can do it. But again, I understand you. They are beneath us, Uncle. But again, it serves the purpose, and I see the future. And I just want everybody to see the future that I see.
Absolutely. And even though Lu'Cious has his moments where he's not as fond of like the savagery ways of the past, so I try to be open-minded, but my patience is very thin.
Your open mind is very, very slightly open. It's like that open.
Baby steps. But it was, it was so fun, just really exhilarating every time. It never felt like work. You come to set and you just love to see everybody that you're working with, to be able to see, even though you have the script, you see these words, you know exactly what's going to play out. Every character brings life to the story. They bring their own unique essence to it, and to be able to see how everybody works together, man, you just feel like a kid in a candy store,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, I tell people all the time, you can spend 18, 19 hours on set and film for months, but you can sit and see the end product and still feel like, wow, like you wasn't even there. You're just so amazed.
Of course.
That is wonderful. But speaking of other cast members, we do have one of the people, you know, when hold on, let me backtrack a little bit. We do have an armager here.
Really?
But one of my favorite moments also is, you know, when you're activate the armagers. What to you, what do the armagers represent to you?
The armagers they're my arsenal. They are the ones that are able to look. I'm letting y'all know before I get up off my throne, this is what we're gonna have to make sure that there's order. You know, I don't want any harm to come to my nephew, even though he's a little pig-headed. He swears he's that dude. He's still learning. He still has thousands of years to get to where we're at. But I want to make sure that I put some fear into the hearts, because they already know they don't want nothing when it comes to the armagers. So.
Well, with that, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm gonna have you back for the next episode, though. Okay. But I want you to step out and let our armager come in, because we know y'all can. You would never sit with him. So I'm gonna show you your respect there.
Yes. I don't even need my guards for that.